The servant of God, Frank Duff. Frank Duff was the founder of the Legion of Mary and was born in Dublin, Ireland on June 7, 1889. At the age of 24, he began the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, where he was led to a deeper commitment to his Catholic faith, and at the same time he acquired a great sensitivity to the needs of the poor and underprivileged. In 1916, at 27, he published his first pamphlet, Can We Be Saints?, in which he expressed the strongest convictions of his life, namely that all without exception are called to be saints, and that through our Catholic faith we have available all the means necessary to attain this. In 1917, he came to know the treatise of St. Louis Marie de Montfort on the true devotion of Mary, a work which changed his life completely. The Legion of Mary, along with a group of Catholic women and Father Michael Tower, Dublin Archdiocese, he formed the first Presidium of the Legion of Mary on September 7, 1921. From that date until his death, November 7, 1980, he guided the worldwide extension of the Legion with heroic dedication. This lay apostolate organization is at the service of the Church under ecclesiastical guidance. Its twofold purpose is the spiritual development of its members and advancing the reign of Christ through Our Lady. His profound insights into the role of the Blessed Virgin in the plan of redemption, as also into the role of the lay faithful in the mission of the Church, are reflected in the Legion Handbook, which is almost entirely his composition. The servant of God, Frank Duff. Frank himself was writing to Pope Paul VI in 1964, was able to say that from 1914 he never failed to miss his daily rosary. The spiritual reading was an important part of his everyday life, as has already been mentioned, but he coupled this with regular confession and spiritual direction. From 1915 to 1922, Father Robert Bradshaw tells us that Frank used to spend 4 hours every day in prayer. And it's worth repeating from the handbook. Says, before offering some reflections, the handbook states, this weekly meeting is the heart of the Legion, from which the lifeblood flows into all its veins and arteries. It is the powerhouse from which its light and energy are derived. It is the treasury out of which its own special needs are provided for. The legionaries should thereafter regard attendance at their weekly meetings as their first and most sacred duty to the Legion. Nothing else can supply for this. Without it, their work will be like a body without a soul. Reason tells us, and experience proves, that neglect in regard to this primary duty will be attended by ineffective work, and will too soon be followed by defection from the Legion's ranks. And from the handbook on the weekly meetings and standing instructions are four things are singled out as imperative with regard to the meeting. They are punctuality and regular attendance at the meeting, and then the adequate and audible report in the work done. Punctuality is the courtesy and respect we pay to the meeting and to the other members. As the saying goes, the grace of God is in courtesy. From a faith perspective, punctuality is an expression of courtesy and respect to Our Lady, who calls the meeting and presides over it. Regular attendance at the weekly meeting is the language of the heart and fidelity. If we really love Our Lady and her Legion, we will show faithfulness and perseverance in attending this weekly rendezvous with Mary and her designs for the apostolate. It is a fact of experience that when these qualities of punctuality and regular attendance are absent, the Presidium rapidly declines and everyone suffers, both in the order of nature and grace. Regular and persevering attendance at the weekly meetings is our special gift to Our Lady and to our fellow legionaries, and it is in the giving of an adequate and audible report of the apostolic work done that the Legion forms apostles. There is a striking little paragraph in the long section of the handbook on giving the weekly report. It runs as follows: In its own way, the report is as important to the meeting as the prayers. They supplement each other. Both elements are necessary to the meeting. O Lord, all our hearts are in your hand. You can bend as it pleases you. The most obdurate and soften the most hardened. Do that honor this night through the blood, merits, wounds, names, and inflamed hearts of your beloved Son and his most holy Mother, by granting the conversion of the whole world. Nothing less, my God, nothing less, because of Mary, thy Mother, and because of thy might and thy mercy. Prayer by Frank Duff. And then, of course, some quotes from others on apathy. And finally, the Legion life is not a unique life, and it is not a heroic life. It is common Catholicity, as God intended it, and as the Church sees it, nothing more. And of course, our prayer for the beatification of the servant of God, Frank Duff.